Hello viewers, welcome to my channel Data IQ. In this video, we'll see most frequently asked question on Power BI in TCS. In this video, we'll cover most frequently asked question by TCS interviewers or recruiters. So first, they'll ask you to introduce yourself, so that you have to introduce in which domain you have worked on, highlight your number of experience, which domain, how much you are skilled, and which platforms you have worked on. Try to highlight whatever you can. Then they'll ask how many projects you have worked on. Basically, they wanted to look into it, how many Power BI dashboard reports you have created, in which domain you have worked on. There'll be any interest on how many domains you have worked on, like retail domain, technology domain, insurance domain, and they'll ask further question if they wanted to ask, and they'll proceed further. So try to brief everything about you, how you have worked on, how many hands-on you have worked on, and then they'll have interest in your profile and they'll proceed further to ask further questions. So in this video, I have covered few questions that were recently asked by a TCS in a TCS interview, and it is for freshers and even experienced, because this is a very commonly asked questions and that you should know and you should brush up on. Let's start. First question is, what is Power BI and why it is used for? So you have to explain what is Power BI. It's a Microsoft tool, and you can give a brief definition. Is that Power BI is a collection of software, service, apps, and connectors from Microsoft that helps business visualize and analyze data to gain insights. So this is how you can explain what is Power BI and why it is used for. Don't go very deeply into it, just a one-liner or two-liner, because there will be a further question they are going to ask. So yeah, just scripts. Don't be very into explaining more, because it's a very basic question that's going to ask to understand, even if you know about the Power BI or not. Second question will be key features and components of Power BI. So that also you can give a pointers. Even if they ask in detail, then you will start explaining it, but try to be very crisp on this, like data connection and transformations, data modeling. You can do it in Power BI. Visualization, you can create a visuals and visualize your data. AI insights, you can also use AI into your natural language. Also you can use reporting and dashboards, and sharing and collaborations. So these are the main key features of Power BI that you can give into a pointer. So next question will be, now they are going to level up your questions. So next question will be difference between calculated column and measures. So again, this you can explain based on your experience or even with an example. So I have given a basic definition is like that: calculated columns perform row level calculation during data input or refresh, and their results are stored in data model. This is a very crisp differentiate between calculated columns and measures. Measures, on the other hand, are dynamic aggregations that are calculated on the fly during report generation based on current context and applies filters. This you can explain further as well, because they'll try to understand, even you understand the basics. Difference between calculated columns or not. Let's suppose calculated columns takes your memory, but measures is on the fly. As it says, on the fly, whenever you're applying any filters or calculating anything, then measures is going to work, but calculated columns, it's going to store into the data model. So whenever you're going to refresh your data, it's going to give an auto based on that. You can explain more on that, like I'll try to explain so you can brush up, and you can also Google it and learn more on this. But yeah, this is a structure I have given you, so you can brush up while preparation for the interview. Like features, I have divided into features and their differentiations, like features evaluations. So calculated columns evaluate basis on row level and during data refresh, while as measures dynamic during report generations. Storage, as I told, stored in data model, not stored, calculate on the fly. So whenever you are applying filter, it's working on the fly. Context, Calculated column is at row level context. Measures depends on current report, contexts or filters. You can explain also use cases, row level calculation, categorical data, while measures are aggregation dynamic calculations based on filters. You can even give an examples of, try to give an examples like measures will be your uh, sales calculation, total sales amount, year on year calculations. All those will be your measures. Calculated column can be your based on any examples of the calculations, like you wanted to differentiate between male and female, that you can how many males and females are there in the data sets, that also you can explain. So we'll move forward to next question, that is most used time intelligent functions and syntax. So see, they are going to level up based on your answers. They are going to level up their questions. Now they have come to DAX. So in this they used means most used time intelligent function you have used on or and explain their DAX syntax. So there are multiples, you can explain anything, but yeah, I have used most commonly used, that is date add and same period last year. So data, what does date add do? Moves the given set of dates by specified intervals. So it can move however you want to, either previous year, current year, 2 years, last 2 years, or monthly wise, last month, current month. So this is why you use date add. Syntax would be date add, it's a function, and you have to give a date column, comma, parameters like how you're going to move your intervals. -1 means last 1 year as in this example, and how year based on year. So this -1 can be 1, 2 positive and negative numbers, however you want to move your data, and how you're going to move your data, like year wise you wanted to calculate, month wise you have to calculate, quarter wise you want to calculate, or day wise you want to calculate, that you have to define there. Same period last year returns a set of dates in the current selection from the previous year. So this is a very this can ask you to differentiate into like a deep level more questions, is like same period last year. So right now if you are in May, so if you're using this text, it's going to be May 2024. Right now you're in May 2025, it will go to May 2024. This is how you can explain it. So and they might ask, if they wanted to further know on this, they might ask what is the difference, so that also you can explain. So we'll move forward to the next question, running sum and DAX or running total DAX. So they are asking, can you give can you write a DAX to calculate running sum and running total? So this is the answer that you can give. You have to type into a text chat box and give it to them. So like variable, in this I've already given you the sample. This is a sample for calculating running totals. Now next question would be most commonly used text, that you can answer how whatever you have used on calculate, filter, sum x, all selected. There are multiples else, whatever you can what's come to your mind, give it that. And if they ask further questions like what is the difference between sum and sum x, they can ask, or what is the difference between all selected, all expect, that also you can explain. This going to take time, so I am not going to explain further on this. If you want more explanation on that, comment and I'll come up with the detailed version of this. So we'll jump to the next question. DAX for YOI, YOS, year over year growth. That they are again, I'm going to ask you to write a query, DAX query. So this is the answer for calculating year over year growth. This is a very good questions, and most of the company used to ask these questions, either year over year, percentage, month on month. So you can change the calculation as per whatever they have asked for. So please do prepare on this. Now moving next forward to how you implemented RLS. Have you implemented RLS and which functions you have used? This also you can explain. What do you mean by RLS? It's a row level security in Power BI feature that allows you to restrict data access for specific users or groups by applying filters at the row level. How RLS works, again you can explain. They're going to ask roles. So you can come to pointers like roles. RLS relies on roles, which are predefined sets of permission. Then comes to filters. Each role is associated with filter that specifies which rows of data users is role about. DAX expressions, how you're going to write a dash, that also you can explain. Then comes to dynamic. There is two types of RLS, static and dynamic. So you can explain. You can also implement dynamic RLS, where the RLS roles are based on user specific data such as user, employee, ID or department. Then they are going to ask further on this, because they are most interested these days, how you are going to restrict your data so that nobody can make use of it. So explain RLS with some example. So imagine a scenario, you can come up with an example, or let's say and give you an example. Imagine a scenario where sales team needs to see their own sales data while the management team needs to see all sales data. RLS can be used to create two roles, sales team and management team, as there are two teams. The sales team role would have filter that restricts access to only the sales data. The sales team can see sales data, whereas management can see both sales data and their data. Management role would have filter that allows access to all sales data. So this is how you can explain, or you can explain in any whatever examples you know that, or if you have implemented that also you can explain. Now next question would be parameter in Power BI. So have you ever used parameter in Power BI? What is parameters? So parameter are user generated values that control how a report interacts with underlying data and visuals. They allow users to customize the report behavior, such as filtering data or changing visual properties without needing to modify the report's underlying code. Parameters can be created in the Power Query editor and can be used in M expression, DAX expressions, even directly within the visuals. So this is the definition of the parameter that you can explain, and you can also explain with the help of an example. If you want more detailed video on this, please do comment. I'll come up with the more detailed explanation of parameter, how you're going to use parameters, and uh, examples and scenarios. So yeah, these are the most asked questions in any of the companies, and this is the recent question asked in TCS interview for an experienced person, so that they can gain an insights. So yeah, if you want further more video on this like this, please do a comment and I'll come up with the video on that. So thank you. I hope you liked my video, and if you want more videos, please like, subscribe and comment. So on what topics you want, I'll come up with the detailed version of all the DAX functions, so that you can understand whatever you can understand the DAX context, and you can start using it into your dashboards and even uh, crack your interview. So thank you.